I grew in Etara very well, and I keep the history and origins of my people. And traditionally, we're talking about talk well. But after that, I took the throne of my father, and I'm still the custodian of that title until this moment. And I knew everything. Just like my father was sending me to Western educations and school, that is how I'm also being informed traditionally to be acquainted with the traditions of my people and of Ekpe in general. So specifically in Ekpe, areas like the signs that make Ekpe become what it is, which we call it Nsibidi. Those are the signs of Ekpe. Somehow vested very well in Etung. I stand tall for today if it comes to Nsibidi practice. That is one and famous area that makes Ekpe become meaningful to any man who is a member in Ekpe society. You must know thoroughly what is Nsibidi because it holds all the aspects of Ekpe. Before you are taken to another location, another community that have Ekpe, whether you like it or not, you will agree with me that the phobia, the fear will not be instilled in you because you know actually what is there in that Ekpe. And that's what keeps some of us brave and proud about Ekpe. It holds the history and origins of our people. Because whatever signs in Ekpe had a meaning. Although it varies in different communities because the language culture is not the same. But I believe totally that it speaks the same thing and it remains the same thing. Ekpe as its whole, it had its definitions, just like I've earlier mentioned that it is varies from other areas. But I want to say that Ekpe had its own ranking. After defining, had from one level, grade level to another. And that is how you also study the origin and tradition of your community to the highest peak of your people. That what is obtained in Etung, if you take it out to places like Calabar, they still hold the same culture and tradition, but it varies. It varies in the sense that we hold and do the same thing, but for the fact that we have different signs of putting dimensions, but we speak one time and we know ourselves. If you're a non-member, you will not be privileged to enter any Ekpe hall in another community you go with. You can't be that brave because you don't know what it takes. These are traditions and origins of Ekpe that keep the black man and it as a secret, not known to other people that are non-Ekpe tribes. But we, as we know ourselves, like the Ejagham, what I mean by Ejagham, from where I come from, Etara, other communities and so far, Etung, Ikom, that I do too well, that they know Ekpe very, very well. We have the same thing. And to club it with our brothers of Akampa and Calabar. They are so vested with Ekpe traditions and culture. And these tribes call themselves Ekoi. They know exactly what is meant by Ekpe. That is the educations our people gave us first, before the Western educations come. Ekwe is not something you can just go one day and then you said, I'm Ekwe member, and you come into it. You must follow somewhere. How is the initiation done? You started somewhere. In some community, like my community, they'll hold you sometime. If they want to initiate you, the adult, the young adult that is okay and have wanted to join the Ekwe, or sometimes through the initiation of your parents, they bring you in. There's what we call Achakayogog, Achakogoribu. That is point of initiation of Gogoribu and Nambok Ebonko. Ebonko na Gogoribu Bambi Achakanafo. That is what I'm saying, is that those signs that they are going to use to initiate you as that boy and whatever group your class you belong, at that point of initiation, before seeing what is meant by real Ekpe inside, boom, 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 it's very difficult. You cannot just come out from anywhere and send you in and knowing what is Ekpe. Mboko is a very powerful position. Mboko is an attribute of Order John that makes closely to, tells you the history sometimes about the Ekpe itself. And Ekpe, as I wanted to tell you, that it goes in levels. We have Iyamba. Iyamba is a kind of a ceremonial head. But the father of Ekpe all is called Dibu Nturibu. Dibu is the father of all heads or whatever departments in Ekpe you find, you call it. Which I have a title and I'm still a very strong holder of Nturibu. Ebonko Ribu. Nkanda Ribu. Ashan Ribu. Mboko Ribu. All as you account them, that is how the father of Ekpe now remains Ribu. And unchangeable. That is the classification. And Iyamba is Ayamba, is his senior brother, is the ceremonial head, just like I've mentioned. And this is spiritual call. Why I said it's a spiritual call, it's not actually the father. But we found it one thing, because Ebonko is a fundamental farmer, is the line, the streamline to getting to Iyamba. So if you can perform from your Iswa or Ashingbe from one great point to another and get rise to one another, you now merit those areas, those positions. You cannot just fly over one day that will see a young man, but no matter how well from or from a renowned family, a royal family, takes you over one day to replace and go and sit on that hierarchy. You must start from somewhere. Otherwise, you will be floating in Ekpe. Ekpe has so many significance through Ekpe itself. If, as I said, if you go into definition, it is custodians of law and of everything of our communities, right from the creations of our originations. It makes law and order. It's assisted our communities. We benefit from it in those days, because that is the only government before the Western education comes to intercede and take over. Where the police and other person, the other arms of government comes. In those days, Ekpe, it takes charges. It's quite educative enough. So Ekpe is not supposed to die away like that. But you see, when this religion arrangement comes into life, people, start talking about Christianity. Christianity had come also to destroy a lot of our culture. Our people are most like the present young generations. present young generations don't believe in all this. When they hear you are an Ekpe member, they thought that you will be initiated to Kwinon, you'll be initiated to witchcraft, you'll be initiated to all forms, which is not true. To the best of my knowledge, as my parents and how the history of Ekpe holds it, nobody can poison each other in Ekpe Hall. I remember that whatever you do, whether we hate yourself, your friends, your whatever, even if you commit adultery with somebody's wife, when you go to Ekpe as members of Ekpe, enter there, we all share wine in the same cup. That's it, that cup make peace and unity. So Ekpe also had a traditional history or religion of its own to maintaining peace. And what is peace? That religion, Christianity. But people somehow just use it to totality. The people, they call them this religion fanatic. They go to extremes to destroy Ekpe, to seeing every young man, good man looking. They thought he is a Bible with witchcraft, associated with witchcraft and Okwinon and water society and all that, Ubuni and all that, which is not true. Upheld to that is not true, it's not correct. Holding and keeping history does not make you an Okwinon or water society member. You are knowing their culture, tradition, so that you can impart their history back to the younger generations, so that they know the origins and what has happened for the decades and past years, thousands of years behind your people. So Ekpe still remained a fundamental culture and institutions of respect, an area that we can still hold up to, and we can talk to our younger generations to know. By the time you leave from here and go to Yoruba Kingdom as a peer boy and walk there and see what the Yoruba does, you come back to your states and begin to behave like a slave. When others are going right, you are going wrong. You start abusing them that they are not doing the real thing. Because you are not here to learn, you don't know exactly what the culture holds for you. When you are a young person, they take you out of your place to go and stay out, to study out, to remain there. By the time you grow to an adulthood, when you come back and visit your people here, you look at them as foreigners. Instead, you yourself is a foreigner. You become an alien because you don't even know your culture. Another looks at you as a slave for those who are steady with their own culture and they follow it up. So for sure, Ekpe has early said, I don't find anything wrong and bad in Ekpe. That people should continue, the young generation should continue to join and study and learn their culture of Ekpe society, Ngbe. In our Ejagham, as we call it, Ngbe. Ngbe is it's a good institution that I, Okang, is still emphasizing that it should not get out. People should maintain it, should learn from it.